today's session will be mainly about the big three lifts, so the squat, bench, and deadlift, and how we could use a scale of RPE and RIR into our sessions as well. So can anyone tell me what RPE or RIR stands for? Megan? Yeah? You're on the right lines. Marie, what's RIR? RIR? Yeah, that's good. What's RPE then, Helen? Do you want to give it a go? Just explain it, yeah. That's reps in reserve. But what's RPE?
You're too close to failure.
Yeah. So RPE and RIR, basically RPE is rate of perceived exertion. It's a gauge on how intense the movement is throughout the whole set. And RIR is how many reps in reserve you can finish after completing a set as well. So these are both tools to monitor the intensity of the set that you just completed. And we try to push this towards our clients as much as possible because we obviously want to provide the right stimulus for them as well in order for them to adapt and progress in the exercise. So today we'll have Vivek squatting for us. So do you mind just warming up with the bar first?
Sure. Oh Lord. We're getting low bar or high bar?
It's up to you, your preference. Yeah, that's good warm up. So that's 6 to 8 reps. 2, 3, good. Try to keep your head up a little bit as well. Focus on a specific point in front of you. That's it. Good, and one more. Nice, and rack. How much do you reckon you can squat today?
Let me catch my breath.
Has it been a while?
It has been a while.
Okay.
How many reps are we on for?
3 to 5.
3 to 5? Put like 80 on.
80. Let's warm with this first. Let's talk through the walkout as well. So for a walkout, you want to keep it as standardized as possible. I usually recommend just 3 steps at the max. This is to conserve energy and make it as simple as possible for the client and everyone else. Yep. Yep. Just do 5 or 6. Last one. 6. Rack. 5 or 6. How's the first warm-up set feel? Feel good? So for this one, give it a bit more rest. Do 3 or 4 on this one. Okay. So for the warm-ups, you ideally want to progress the reps a lot lower towards working set. So for the first warm-up set, he did 40 for 6 reps. Is it 6? So next one is 60, so maybe do 3 or 4 just to conserve his energy. So this is to prime his central nervous system for the main lift as well, without wasting too much. Okay, you ready? 4. So 3-step walkout. Bit wider. Up. Keep your head up a bit. Nice. How's this one feel?
Good.
Good. Maybe set this a little bit lower. This.
Is it?
Hmm?
Oh no.
Let's put 5 on. Right, so I reckon this could be your second last warm up. So let's just do 2 reps on this. Yeah. Do you want to put a belt on?
Maybe
Or not quite yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
How long were we expected to rest in between? A minute or 2?
So for warm ups, I'd say 2 to 3 minutes. But when you get to your top set, if you're doing more than one top set, I reckon 4 to 5 minutes in between. But we're only doing one top set.
Yeah.
So you could a little bit quicker if you want as well.
Like what, 2?
Yep, just 2. Oh. Okay. Let's do. How's it feel on this weight? Light.
It's pretty good.
So throughout the warm-up sets, it's always good to ask the client or the person you're training with, how does the weight feel in between? Because for RPE scale, it's very dependent and it's very subjective as well. One day, for example, 80 kilos can feel very heavy. Another day, 80 kilos for Vivek can feel very light as well. So you have to be very honest with the assessment throughout the whole session. And it's always good to have a video to video your sets to get a gauge on how quick the lift moves as well.
So in question in terms of like, you've got a relatively new client who's quite untrained, what kind of things are you looking for? If they have no clue what they're squatting, what things are you looking for? Either body movement, specific like breakdowns or whatever, to know that they're not near their top weight or they're near their top weight?
How quick the load moves as well.
What if they just generally aren't good with like moving weights very quickly?
I wouldn't put them on squats in the first place then. So I'll regress them to a more simpler exercise. So if we're targeting like a RP8 or 2 reps in reserve, you could also implement those in such like a leg press as well. Because it's a fixed movement, it's not as complicated compared to a barbell squat. So we could push them more towards that and gradually progress them towards the bar as well. Same for any other compounders such as deadlift or bench press as well. If the client is not that great when it comes to shifting the load just yet, regress them to easier exercises such as if we have a chest press machine, that would be a good one, as it eliminates a lot of errors, or just start them off from the dumbbell press to help them stabilize a lot more first.
With the squat, what kind of progressions are you going through? So for a beginner, if someone can't match the weight, what's the earliest thing you would request them to and how do you work them?
I think a goblet squat is always a good place to start first, but there's a lot of exercises you have to implement as well to strengthen it, such as hyperextensions. A lot of calf raises would be good, lying hamstring curls, and then once their mobility has improved over time, then I'll gradually test whether the client's good enough to squat or not. Yeah. Ready? Let's do 1, because 70 move quite quick as well. Just move the bar across a bit, not quite yet. Yeah. Up, too easy, rack. How does it feel? What do you reckon this RPE is for 80 kilos?
You're looking at percentage?
Yeah. 10 being maximum effort, no reps in the tank lift. 4.5.
4.5.
Or 5.
So
That's the wrong load.
You know what?
Yeah, go 100.
We told you what RPE was. This is your choice, mate.
Yeah.
It felt like, on the way up, it felt like pretty comfortable compared to when I.
Awesome.
Well, good thing you're being honest.
120
Let's go 20 on instead. Probably 20.
It's fine because we start to lie now, Ollie will just put the rest all set.
Save here, right?
Tens.
Now, you challenge it. People don't have any idea what RPE is. See how many you've got in the tank. 25 is 25, but they'll still get the same level of fatigue.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. So if it's not going to be a 1 rep max, and you're going to go RPE like 9, what kind of like percentage in load are you going to go?
I'll say 90%.
90%.
90%. Yeah. You could do like a 3 rep max as well for that one as well.
I actually judge that on a complete beginner. If that percentage change, awesome. You've got someone who can.
I will not use this as a beginner.
Yeah, you're not using that one
Yeah.
for anyone else.
This is way too complex for a beginner as well.
So what metrics are you using to judge that same level of intensity with a beginner client to get to that one?
How many reps they can complete, reps in reserve. But for beginners, you obviously want them to get a good foundation first. So completing in the higher rep ranges will be the best suited for them, like 10 to 12. But for clients who want to develop strength, always work between, I'd say 3 to 6. But initially, you want to start off in the accumulation phase first. So start from 8s. But obviously, get feedback all the time from obviously your coach and other people that's training with you, just to get a different gauge of what RPE you are and what the client thinks he is as well. All right, you ready? I think this could be a weight. Let's go for 5 on this. If I think the first rep is easy, I'll make you stop and go up. All right, big deep breath. Up. Rack. Too easy.
Just in case we didn't hear that cough, I don't know what.
It'll be air, mate. There's no pain, it's alright.
Let's go for a smaller jump. Yeah, give it a bit more time.
Not even after you've got any spikes to stay.
Huh?
No, got it cold, not you. Yeah.
Just pretend it's 800 solid ass pounds.
Alright, when I call it, here we go.
Just a skinnier version.
That's right. Jabbing is top of my phone.
Everyone wants to get jabbed onto this heavy ass weight, right?
Yeah.
So we'll go for 1 rep.
3 to 5.
Yeah, buddy.
Come on.
Got it.
Come on. Up. Nice. Drive. 2. Easy. Come on.
Yeah, raise, dude.
3. Good. Chest up. Stay tight.
No.
That was too easy.
Oh, I thought.
That was too easy.
Back yourself.
Wait, hold on.
Nope, we rack it.
Yeah. I thought you said stop.
Was it too easy? You had to go more.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Don't give him ideas now.
2.5.
2.5.
Give him a rest and go 2.5.
Yeah. That was a good triple, to be honest. What's the RP on that then?
I meant additional 2.5.
8 or 9?
Yeah.
Additional 2.5.
Yeah, so
I thought you
5.
meant another 10.
Because on the way up, I feel like.
Yeah. I was like,
I see your eyes.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to ask my eyes are still.
To get a lot of muscle. Would never come back in.
2.5.
I trust Ollie.
Because on the second and third rep, on the way up, I felt a little.
No.
No, not a bad thing. Like I felt like it wasn't as smooth.
It's not meant to be smooth. If you try to hit RPE 8, do not expect the set to be easy or smooth. It will be challenging.
Yeah, I think that's. Can you like tell us what the difference between like how to recognize RPE 8, 9, and shit?
So usually RPE 8 or 9, or RPE 8, the first 2 reps can move initially quite smooth, but then the last 3 or 4 can be a lot more challenging as well. And then RPE 9 should be a grind on every reps, even if you're performing 2 rep maxes. So same thing could be applied to RPE 8. If you prescribe a specific rep range, let's say 6 reps, it could still be a grind towards the second half of the set as well. Okay. Think you're well rested?
I hope so.
Okay.
All right. So
Come on. 3 to 5. So take your time in between the reps.
Yeah.
All right, big deep breath, brace. Up, go. Nice, take your time. Come on. Drive, good. Come on, control, not too quick on the way down. Up, go, go. Nice, do it. Good, come on. Come on, brace. Go, drive, 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 drive. Nice. Not yet, stabilize. Come on. Commit to it, commit to it. Up, go, 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 go. Nice, good. Nice.
Well done, Fag.
You can retire now.
Is it 5 now?
Huh? That's 5. That's 5.
At what point would you like be okay with a little bit of a compromise in form?
Yeah.
When the client's a bit more advanced, develop a specific amount of training experience, I'd say at least a good 3 years for its compromised form. Yeah.
His form was pretty spot on.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
I'm
good.
just more talking from a beginner standpoint, stability tends to be one of the big issues, and as long as perfection is always key in your mind, push
Yeah.
as hard as you can, and then exactly what Ollie's saying, when someone gets to the point that they've had that training experience and they're pretty smooth under movements, then near the end of a set, really close to 9 or 10, you're going to be looking at a little bit of a compromise on form,
Yeah.
as long as you're going to get a little bit more of a stimulus towards their legs and those movements. But at the end of the day, even little details make a big difference. When Ollie told Vivek to slow down, it's a big difference. Rep 3's flying into the hole. That's exactly what you don't want. Now, there's a give and take, right? You go too
Yeah.
slow, like you did on rep 4, it's probably fatiguing. So that comes with why strength is such a skill, as well as how strong someone is. But that's part of your job as well. Exactly what Ollie's doing. Slow down, go here, drive here, telling them, talking them and coaching
Yeah.
them through that movement is kind of important as well.
Like talking them throughout the set is actually encouraging them
100%.
and helping them refix cues as well.
More because everyone's watching and because Simon's also cheering you on.
Well, everything's
Like,
so hard.
in all honesty, I think you
Yeah.
probably did. I think, to be honest, I don't see you squatting like that when you're training on your own. And of course, you have a spotter with Ollie, but I think, getting someone in the mindset to lift heavy and you're about to execute a heavy set, it's a process as well, right?
Yeah.
So Ollie's talking you through it, he's getting you ready. You need to be doing the same with clients, right? It's all well and good when you're doing more high rep work or volume and stuff, you can take that edge off a little bit, but when someone's executing, really close to their, RPE 9 or 10, you kind of want to be looking at preparing them for the set.
Yeah.
These reps are going to be hard. Take a little bit of time at the top, slow down, drive, talk them through the whole thing, because your experience should dictate how well they execute those sets as well.
These
about risk reward as well. Like for
Yeah.
those of you who are maybe not confident of pushing clients hard at this stage on a big back squat, actually learning that, right? Think about there's more risk here of taking an extra rep, but that importance of the accessory work, you can get good if you can get here, like leave one rep in the tank until you're really comfortable grinding someone through that last rep. You go into a leverage squat, you go into a leg press, you go into a split squat. You can start by really pushing on those accessory lifts where worst case scenario is then it's sat down at the bottom. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
The other thing is know what your capabilities are and your strengths are as well, right? You know, not to like push someone out, but people are going to feel a lot more confident with Ollie behind them to do a really hard squat than if Helen's trying to spot Ollie, right? If Ollie's doing 200 kilos and Helen's behind, at one point, just by relation to their strength, Ollie's probably going to have to fail his rep as opposed to Helen getting him through it. Well, Ollie can squat 200 kilos, so if Vivek's getting close to the end, he can spot him through that rep. So just kind of know where you stand as well. Obviously, pin height matters a lot, but if you are pushing someone, sometimes it's better off to just let them fail a rep if you don't think you can, help them get through those.
Yeah.
Same goes for like all sorts of other lifts.
If you're not,
waiting for Ollie
yeah.
to bicep curl quite often.
If you're not confident in spotting, just let them drop it on the safety rack.
Also know when to, pull the pin and say, like, don't do it, right? So like, if actually Vivek did well to grind through those reps, but sometimes you'll see someone like trying to go through, just drop it, just tell them to stop it. And the most important one is when they're deadlifting, right? It's your job to say like, no, just drop it. So you talk them through that as well. When you're doing this lift, if things start to compromise and I tell you to drop it, just drop away. And then injury prevention is should be at the forefront of your mind when you're ever doing stuff, especially with people who are a little bit more beginners. Like,
Just think about the risk to reward when it comes to doing the big 3 lifts.
Nothing ruins a transformation more than getting injured.
Exactly.
Let them push through squats and push hard, but once that form is at a place where you're not comfortable with it, just tell them, just drop it.
Yeah, just drop it.
And that's fine.
Also, guys, I think it's really, really important to know that you'll get this right from the start. If you start noting down for yourself how to utilize RIR and RPE, when you get a new client started, you don't have to chuck them on the barbell squats, but to figure out where their strength levels are, they probably don't know, right?
Yeah.
Vivek, I'm guessing you didn't know you were going to be squatting 115 kilos for 5 today.
No, I didn't.
Right? So we found out that you can do 5. So that is your point now, right? There's not much of that. But if you get a client to understand how much they can dumbbell row with good form, bench press with good form, shoulder press safely with good form, hamstring curl with good form, you have to get them in that mindset to say, right, we do 10 reps or as many as you can with this weight, so that they start their program with set numbers for everything. If you never know what their starting point is, they're always going to be below what they can actually do. So their entire 12-week program has been 60-70% what they can actually do. That's a huge, huge waste. And I see a lot of people using lighter weights on their clients. Yeah, it's perfect form. It's also like they probably had about 15 reps to go, but because they said 10 to 12, they stopped at 10 to 12. So you don't have to push them to the max on every single first starting set, but you have to find a system that works that you can say, this client actually can do 20 kilo dumbbells on bench press for 17 reps because we found out he can. Now I'm going to calibrate all my starting numbers for him behind that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's also why you should constantly be asking them those questions, right? Like how many reps could you do? And like you're just layering in information and like knowledge throughout that process. But on the last set, you kind of should be pushing them towards failure on kind of everything.
And
Challenge sets with their clients.
every set should be challenging as well.
Does anyone not know what a challenge set is? Hands up if you don't. Everybody? There we go. So it's a challenge set, like if you say you've got 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, right? You go, how many have you got left here? 1, 2, and they just look like it's easy. That last set, if you're not sure, say, right, we're going to have you weight, what we think you can do 8 to 10, and we're going to do as many reps you can in the tank. So you might do 10, 10, and then 25. If you've got 25, they're starting to realise now, what they thought was 1 left in the tank is actually 15 left in the tank. So now they start to get a better understanding of what true 1 rep in reserve is, and if they do more than 3 more than their rep bracket, you need to increase the weight next time. If they fail before the rep bracket, maybe it's too heavy, so you go within the range, you've got it right. But using that challenge sheet, knowing, they did an extra 5, okay, I underestimated it, let's go up next time.
And you should pick that number, right? Aim for 15, and then like if they get towards 15 and you think they can do more,
you have to increase the load.
It's like do as many as you possibly can. As soon 10 or 12, in their head they're doing 10 or 12.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I said as many as you can, you might get 20.
My issue with that is like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Whenever you ask a beginner like how many did you have and they say 5 and you're like, well from experience I know that you've got 15 more than the 5
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
think you've got. That's
Yeah.
why I pick a target that's super high for them. So like if I pretty much am thinking that they're going to fail at that point, I'll give them that target because otherwise I think they're going 4 reps below it.
I think it depends on
Yeah,
the
who
client.
are you working with?
Yeah.
If you're working with a psychopath who's just going to keep going, yeah, just
Oh yeah, if
go
the
to
form
town.
starts to break, you
Yeah.
cut them off.
If you're
It's
seeing,
done
the,
there.
you're seeing the one that just, no, but I'm talking more like, I think Karen's saying like, you know, if you're working with someone who's a little bit more mentally weak, most of them are more mentally weak to begin with than they are necessarily physically not capable of doing it. So,
Yeah,
if I give them no target, I tend to find that a lot of them just, oh yeah, that's done. It's like,
Yeah.
well, you're not really done because you can do
So
way
Yeah,
more.
I'll say
definitely
you
have
can do
more.
that in the sense,
Arguably,
like,
I think that
if
they
it's-
would
if
have
it's
stepped
they do
out
12,
at 3 there if
and
Ollie didn't
if
make
they
it.
do 12 and you say, okay, they could have done more, in your notes you can put down they had 5 RIR.
Yeah.
So then you know, okay,
Yeah.
just now what they've done, I can
Or, yeah.
calibrate.
Or even just say, I'm going to give you a scale of 25, and if you go up to 22 and it's not slowing down,
Exactly.
you then go,
Yeah.
right, more. I want to see how many you got. And you do it mid-set.
That's
you know.
what I said, change
Mhm.
the goalpost, right? And I think they're getting there. You just keep talking them through it. The more you can make the rules, the better.
So remember during the first session of the assessment, always try to push them as hard as you can. That's when you get the first gauge as well. Then when it comes to the proper session, you know what numbers to use. So you're setting the standard from the very first time.
In terms of, you went into a little bit of setup, you briefly mentioned the J hooks there.
Yeah.
In terms of the pins and the J hooks, where are you setting them with the client?
For the J hooks, you just want it just below where the shoulder joint is.
Yeah.
So it's easy, well you can unrack it without hitting it as well. For the safety rack, it should be just below where your lowest point of the squat should be. So there's not such of a big distance of a drop in case the person fails as well.
How do you spot that? People here that aren't comfortable with spotting where that range is. What are you looking for to know where that end range is for them?
I mean, if you're not comfortable with a spot, just get other people to help as well. So maybe 2 people on the side, like a powerlifting style.
If you spotting, not spotting, but like
Yeah.
seeing where that lower end range is in terms of the squat.
You should be able to see it when you start warming up with the bar. Yeah, you should know where the end range.
What are you looking for the end range?
So for a person's best squat below parallel, obviously the kneecap should be just over the knee crease as well. So the hook should be just slightly higher above that range as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions for squats? Shoot. Let's do deadlift. Yeah, Helen? Ready? She's warmed up just looking at Vivek.
So we're not building this.
Cheers.